Okay, hello, good morning to all of you. So today's lecture on the topic first, identification, nomenclature, and classification. So we will see the one by one point. So what is the identification? So morphological characters are important for the naming, identification, and classification of the plants. So what is morphological? Morphological is nothing but external characters of the plants are there, right? Leaf, stem, inflorescence, flowers. So whatever characters are there, in this one we may divide like this: vegetative characters as the stem, leaves, and reproductive characters, inflorescence and the flower of the plant. Then these reproductive characters, the flowers and the fruits, they are not constant as like the numbers of the sepals and the petals, or the stamens and the carpels are there, right? So we are knowing number of sepals are generally 5, number of petals are 5, stamens may from 1 to many stamens are there, 1, 4, 5, 10, or many, like this one. So in the this character, generally we have to consider about the morphological character, and therefore there are the certain delimitation in the identification and the classification is there. So therefore the different major aspects of the taxonomy, as suppose the description of the plants, already in FYPSC we have seen angiosperm morphology, right? So what are the characteristics of the parts are there. Again here we have seen the different types of the leaves are there: simple leaves, compound leaves, right? Already you are knowing. Then sessile leaves or the petiolate leaves are there. Then therefore each taxon, it is based on the similarities and the differences. Taxon means the name of the genus. It is called as the taxon. So therefore we have to consider this one. Then secondly, the use of the different keys, then description, illustrations, and the characters. So what is the meaning of key? Suppose in flower you are knowing complete flower and incomplete flower. Suppose all floral parts are present, it is the complete. Anyone is absent, suppose the unisexual flowers are there, male flower and the female, so they are separated. Then polypetalous and the gamopetalous. Poly means what? Free petals, and gamo means the petals are fused, right? So it is also the character of some examples are there, and therefore it is possible to prepare the key. So dividation of the on the character, it is called as the key, and then there is the separation. Then description is there. So as per the similar characters, as per the difference character, we may show the description. Then there illustrations, that is the comments are there, right? So how the comments particularly we have to give it. And secondly there are the assign of the particular group or the species are there. If it is not meeting, therefore the new species there. It is not meeting means what? Already there are the reports are there, floras are there, and all characters are given in this book, and therefore if they are not like this one, so just we have to give called as a new species. So these are the some character for the identification. Then nomenclature. Already this name we have seen. There are the 6 principles and the rules of the ICPN. Already we have seen the what is the long form of the ICPN, International Code of Botanical Nomenclature. There are the 6 major principles are there. We are going to see in detail in the topic number 3, next topic. So here the genus or the species name, it should be in the Latin words and in the uniformity, right? Then secondly, firstly it is accepted in the 1950 and in the 7th International Botanical Conference is there. 7th International Botanical Conference, that is the there is having the specifically we are knowing firstly it is accepted in 1950 in the 7th International Botanical Conference Stockholm. So after that all scientists from the world there is a get together in the form of the international conference, and therefore all decisions are or all the decisions are taken in this conference after the discussions are there, and therefore the names are there is a uniformity in the names. In after that in 1956 ICBN rules are propounded by the Legion of. Propounded means they are prepared, and they are like this. So genera name avoid the long and the difficult pronunciation. Any name, I think some names are there. They are the old names are there, and they are very longer. Then genera name must with species name. So it is called as the binomial nomenclature. Already you are knowing each plant is having a botanical name, right? It is called as a binomial, name of genus and name of the species. The species name differ from the allied plants. Other species names generally, for example, for the India, in the old language or in the Latin words, it is called as indica, like this one. So the species name differ from the allied names. The species name not distinguished by its size. Size is not the criteria to give the species name. For example, suppose any plant is short, then we cannot call as a shorty, or a dwarf is there, dwarfy, like this one. So here the size is not considered. There is specific differences not with the place of the origin. Place of origin there should be. Suppose the some plants are originating not having a specific area, but still some peoples are giving the names like this one. Suppose any one plant is found at the any local area, but if it is new, the name we should give. But as per this, these are called as endemic plants are there, only found in the such area. So area is not considered. Then each plant must have the generic name. The genera name must follow the species name, and the shorter species name, it is well and good. So it is for the nomenclature. Then third point is there, what is meaning of classification. So in the classification you are knowing as it is originated with the man and evolved with the man. So by classification, so already we have seen identification nomenclature is there, and therefore it should be properly classified. Suppose the angiosperm is classified into dicotyledon and the monocotyledon. So what is dicot? So there are two cotyledons in the seed or the embryo, and monocotyledon, generally our agricultural crops are there, they are the monocots. Some are the dicots are there, right? Jawar, bajra or the wheat, these are the monocotyledons. Then acer, harbara म्हणतो आपण. So these are the dicotyledons. So they are placed with the similarities and the differences are there. Therefore, a system of filling the empty category of the taxonomic level. The arrangement to the categories in a sequential manner. Sequential, that is A to Z. So it is called as a sequential. And classification categories are. So how classification we are writing? It is as per the kingdom, division, class, subclass, series, right? Then order, family, genera and the species. Kingdom, that is the plant. Division, angiosperms or gymnosperm. Then class, suppose in angio dicotyledon and monocotyledon. Subclass, polypetally, gamopetally, apetally. Then series. So this as per the key character, these characters are going to be changed. Then we are knowing in the classification or the history of the classification, it shows generally it is started from the oldest civilization of the world due to the value of the plants in the human affairs are there. As firstly we are knowing, plants were economically and uneconomically so used, and so plant life gave the earlier classification. There is the first one authority is there in the 382 322 BC. BC means before the birth of Christ, म्हणजे ख्रिस्त जन्मापूर्वी. So Theophrastus, the student of Plato in the Greece. Then Aristotle, they are the great pioneer worker in the biology and the process of learning. The first system on the reproduction and habitat. He has firstly worked on the plant and used the term genos and the eodos. These are the Greek words. So it is for the genus and the species. Right. So these are the Latin words are there. Greek custom, Latin language is there. So therefore the Theophrastus, they are known as a father of the botany, and they are followed by the Aristotle in his book, the Historia Plantarum. You remember this name, Historia Plantarum. It is classified into herbs, shrubs and the trees, and also as the annuals, biennials and the perennials. So first plants classification, and that time they have trained near about 200 scholars who were valuable to understand and publish the 227 treatises are there. So what is treatise? So this first writing, it is called as a treatise. So these are from the school of the Aristotle. So therefore it is very important. Secondly, Andrea Cisalpino. Generally Cisalpino, they are the scientist of the Italy in 1193 to 1280, this period. I think near about the 100 years. We are now in 2021. So just to think over it, how this work was done by our old scientist, right? So Andrea Cisalpino, in honor of this Cisalpino scientist, one plant is there, Cisalpinia pulcherrima. मराठी त्याला आपण शंकासूर म्हणतो. त्या प्लांटला आता Cisalpinia म्हणतात. So this name is given in honor of this scientist, Cisalpino. The plant is the one another scientist in 1583. They gave the taxonomic idea and to divide the plants in the herbs, shrubs and the trees are there, right? Then there is one authority, John Ray are there. So in 1627 to 705 followed the Linnaeus and considered the species is a basic unit in the population. So each species in the population means what? A group of the same kind of plants. It is called as the population. So same plants in the group. So in ecological word it is called as the population. So in this one single species are also important. आता आपण पावसाळ्यामध्ये बघतो सगळीकडे आपल्याला तो हा वाढलेला दिसतो बघा, टाकळा. सो कॅसिया टोरा म्हणतात त्याला, कारण ते सीड्स भरपूर असतात. ग्रास वाढलेला दिसतो भरपूर. सम प्लांट्स आर देअर लाईक दिस. सो इट इज द पॉप्युलेशन. नंतर दे हॅव रिटर्न द फर्स्ट फ्लोरा ॲज फ्लोरा ऑफ केम्ब्रिज अँड इट इज पब्लिश इन 667. म्हणजे 1667ला पहिला फ्लोरा त्यांनी लिहिला. फ्लोरा मीन्स वॉट? A listing of the plants from the area. Cambridge is the part of the England in the London, and there is now Cambridge University is there. So they have written as this flora as a catalogue of British plants. Catalog means a list म्हणतो. Then there is one another scientist, Joseph Turnefort, in 1656-708. Divided the plants in herbs, shrubs and the trees are. Then our main authority in the botanical study, Carl Linnaeus. His period is 1707 to 1778. Yeah, so near about 70 years period. So they have given the novel ideas in the plant classification, and so they are commonly known as a father of modern taxonomy. Father of botany, they are the Theophrastus. The father of modern taxonomy are the Carl Linnaeus. You remember this. They have written the book and classified the 24 classes in the book Genera Plantarum 1754. It is only based on the staminal characters. याच्यामध्ये फक्त स्टॅमिन्स त्यांनी घेतले and they have given this system is called as artificial system. Second, George Bentham and J.D. Hooker, 1883. So they have published the natural system of classification, this book, and which is based on the similarities and the differences in the plants are there. So just you remember these some points are there. So here I am discussing the each and every point. Then our this name already we are going to see their system, Engler and Prandtl. Engler 1844 to 1930, Prandtl 1849 to 1893. So they have given the system, phylogenetic system of classification. So here the plants arranged on the process of evolution. Evolution means the study of the history, and which is based on the dicotyledons and the monocotyledons are there. They are developed independently from the hypothetical extinct, that is the gymnosperms. So gymnosperms were the dominant, and therefore they are to be considered. Nextly, in the after the history, there is one party there, Engler and Prandtl. After the Engler and Prandtl, this phylogenetic system, the concept of the systematics are there. Or what is systematic? So it is the biodiversity and relationship of the organisms. Biodiversity means what? So different plants are there, different animals are there. We are generally discussing for the plant. So taxonomy as a biodiversity science with 4 streams are there. Science means was firstly, science means the to understand, right? So these 4 points: comparative organisms, taxonomy system, nomenclature, and the documentation. So how we are keeping the documents, it is very important. So this study firstly later on done by the according to the Simpson in 1961, Haywood 1967, and the Rose 1974. They have given the systematics in biodiversity and the relationship of organisms, right? So in this organisms exist, that is which organisms are present. Nextly, there is one authority, scientist, Small, 1989. It is the name of scientist. Reviewed the systematics as the science of organisms and the heritable relationship. Science of organisms means, so each and every living organism, plant, having their own science, understanding, and therefore it is heritage. Heritage म्हणजे मराठीत त्याला आपण वारसा म्हणतो, बरोबर. According to Jones and Lusinger, there are the 2 branches are there. One is taxonomy, so it gives the study of organisms, classification, and systematics, it is the study of the plants, identification, nomenclature, classification, and evolution. Evolution means the old historical study is there. So this is our topic about some points are there: identification, nomenclature, and the classification. Okay, so next topic we will also on this our systems of classification, topic number 2. So here today we are completing first topic. Now we will start the second topic. Okay, so thanks to all.